Sorry, I'm not mute. I'm just not talking. Good morning, good morning. My nose is a little stuffy too. That's also why. I was trying to clear it up a little bit. I was debating just sleeping in. No, I'm just kidding. But guys, today we are doing a Q&A. I think it's a great day to take a day off, reset the mental, and just get ready to lock in for the rest of the week. So if we see something crazy, maybe we'll take a trade, but like I said, I expect volume to be a little bit lower. Even if it's not, like yesterday was honestly pretty good price action. We have CPI on Thursday, full port. You're funny. Great day to full port something. No, I'm just kidding. Let me turn my Wi-Fi off on my phone really quick. I'm gonna blow my nose really quick too, and then we'll get started. So just give me one sec. All right, guys, we're back. And for everybody just joining today, we're doing a Q&A. Like I said, a great day to take a day off. Volume most likely lower. Get ready to lock in for CPI on Thursday and the rest of the week. But we're doing a Q&A. Recently, um I only bought one prop firm account just for fun to kind of run it up again. I invested $120 into a prop firm account. That account is now sitting at 4,700 profit. And I can withdraw, currently, I can withdraw 50% of that. Eventually, I'll be able to draw 100%. But currently, by the way, it's been 4 days. So in 4 days, I have, what is that? A 20x. Name me another thing in the entire world where you can, I'm not gonna say I could guarantee that obviously you're gonna get a payout, but if you have really good skills, what other skill in the entire world can you just get a 20x in 3 days? The prop firm I used is called Funded Next Rapid Account. Um, if you're newer, the legacy is definitely different, but like I said, I was doing it for fun to see how quickly passed in one day, and then you just need 3 days of consistency because they've got a 40% rule. But we've done that. We've averaged about $1,400 every day. So I can withdraw whenever I want. Like I could withdraw for today. I don't know if I want to. I kind of want to see if I could get something crazy like a $20,000 payout or something like that off of a $120 investment. What size trading account? $50,000. Absolutely insane. Here's the thing that most beginners don't realize is, okay, there's prop firms like Apex. There's a couple other ones that are cheaper. You know, you can buy an evaluation account for 30 bucks, 40 bucks. Some of them obviously, $100, still cheaper than my 120, right? But once you pass your evaluation account, you then have to pay to activate it into a live account. And that's kind of where they get you. They give you that activation fee, and usually that activation fee is like another 150 bucks. So typically with a 50K account, you're into prop firms anywhere between like 200 to 250. But this funded next is great, like 100 at the time. Uh, I believe I had like a promo on it. Right now, I believe they're $139, which is still amazing. But they were running a little promo and 120 bucks. And funded next, what I was trying to say, it does not have that a value, the oh my gosh, I can't talk. Funded next does not have the activation fee. So all you do is pay the flat 120 and then you're good to go. Which obviously it's more of an investment up front versus Apex, $30, but you're not paying the activation fee. Which honestly, putting a little bit more money up front, again, still 120 bucks is nothing too crazy. Um, Putting that up front, I feel like it gives you more of a mental, like you just want to treat the account with a little bit more caution. There's a little more money on the line. You shouldn't just full port and try to pass it in one single trade, right? If you're doing with Apex, it's like full port, try to pass the account, building really bad habits. What do you think's gonna happen when you pay the activation fee? Now you're in 200 plus deep, and you've built bad habits. You're probably gonna end up full porting and just blowing those live accounts after you activated it, and you're gonna be in a deeper investment with a prop firm that's even more shitty. And yeah, Funded Next, honestly, great things to say about it so far. We don't even have a partnership. I just was testing it by myself. Cheapest and quickest payout in the entire industry so far. Do you still use My Fund of Futures? Yeah, it's still one that I do recommend to people. Um, I do not have an account with them right now, but if I really start to trade prop firms again, because I'm usually just trading live accounts, I kind of want to, test the water, see if we can get some six-figure payout months. I never trusted it like crazy, but I've had friends that I've mentored, not friends, but people I've mentored that are getting six-figure payouts per month. I'm like, bro, if they can do that, like I should be able to do that. They're just with multiple prop firms, linking a whole bunch of accounts. Obviously, it's a lot more complex, and I need to make the jump because it's going to take away from me trading my live account. But um, sorry, new to prop firms, live account, does that mean, yeah, just like your Thinkorswim or anything like that? Similar setup process for this new prop firm? Yes. Again, just Tradeovate. Um, have a quick read through the rules. They're really, really simple. You can pass a rapid account in one day Or if you choose to do the legacy accounts, I believe it takes 3 days, maybe five, I can't remember. And then once you are funded, um, you just need 40% consistency. So they do that just so people don't try to full port and make, $5,000 in one trade. Because, right, if you're only in $120 investment, prop firms make money by people blowing the account. So their business model isn't going to be very successful if you can buy the account for $120 and then, you can get a $5,000 payout in one trade. So that 40% consistency basically just means that your highest day's profit can't be more than 40%. So if you make $1,000, oh my gosh, that was really bad. If you make $1,000, let's just write this out. I don't even want to attempt that again. If you make 1,000, this 1,000 can't be more than 40% of the entire profit, right? So if it's your first day, obviously it's 100% of the profit right now. I don't know why I can't click into this. There we go. Say your next day you make 1,000. So right now your highest day's profit is 1,000 and you have 2,000 total. So 50%, right? So it can't be more than 40. So you would need another day of like 200 bucks, right? So then your total profit would be 2,200. Your biggest day would be 1,000. That's less, that's about 40%. I am really bad at math, but I think so. So, like I said, this is kind of just making sure people don't just full port. Um, like I made $1,500 my first day. Second day, I think I made like 1,700. So I was already at like 3,200 on the account. But my biggest day's profit, right? It was still more than 40%. So I needed a third day where I just made like uh I think I only needed like 500 bucks, but I ended up making a good amount more than that. So that's consistency rule explained briefly. Again, your highest day's profit cannot be more than 40% of your total profits. And this is just to get people that want to full port the evaluations just out of the way because, you know, if they could just full port in one trade, make $5,000 and just get super, super, super lucky and withdraw all that money, Fund and Next probably would be out of business, right? Let's see. Sorry, new to prop firms, live accounts. Does that mean that you just trade your own? Oh, sorry. I already answered that. You able to use TOS with Funded Next? I don't think so. No. Right now, I think they have Ninja Trader and Tradeovate. Those are the two main ones. But Tradeovate is really, really easy. I could show you guys, like, for those really wanting to get into futures, I promise it's not as much as a headache as uh options. Like, you literally have two buttons, buy and sell. Obviously, it might be the same. But you have just three different type of orders, and you're always doing one specific type of orders to buy or sell the contract. You're always doing a specific type of orders to take profit, and you're always using a specific type of orders to set a stop loss. So it's really, really easy. Let's just say I like this price action. I wanted to take a long, and I wanted to use two contracts. Boom. Take profit, stop loss, enter. This is just paper trading, but you could see I'm in this trade. If two contracts, we go up here, I'm going to make $825. And if two contracts go down here, I'm going to lose $550. So It's really, really easy, by the way. Yes, that's paper trading. Um, and then you can set market orders with predetermined take profit and stop loss, limit orders. Um, if you want to drag your take profit, drag your stop loss really, really quick. It's just really easy. And then once you're in, obviously that already set your take profit and stop loss. But if I just entered market with two contracts, obviously the fill wasn't as good, but two contracts, I'm in a long. Now I can go still set my take profit, set my stop loss, or do it manually if you don't want to drag it. Limit. I'm in a buy, sell. I'm not gonna go over it right now, but in the mastermind, or you can watch the previous one. Super, super easy though. Like I could teach my grandma how to do it in like 5 minutes. Let's see. Do you go global or stay with USA? USA if you're from USA. Yes, I did cover the setup for the most part. This one will be definitely more detail if you want to wait. And does the trade automatically execute once those are hit? Yeah, so the beauty of futures, again, pros and cons of both. I'm not saying you should just blindly switch. Figure out what you like. If you already have a really good edge in options, I recommend that you don't switch. Like if you've kind of figured things out, you got your system down, you're consistently seeing profits. I don't think you should switch if you got a good system. Um, but yeah, if I were to say I want to take a short right here, take profit and stop loss, we're in for a small scalp, limit order filled. We'll watch what happens when it goes down to either of these price points. Someone asked if they automatically execute. And the beauty of it is this dollar amount is not going to change no matter how much time it takes to get there, right? We could chop around for an hour. If it hits this price point, it hits that price point, and I make that much money. And if it hits here, obviously I lose that much money. Time is not a factor in futures. All right, it's coming up. I said tune in and cite questions. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. It like lagged for a sec, but it filled where it was supposed to anyway. It just probably was a delay on the screen. But it is TradingView paper trading, so it might have just been stuck. But yeah, we just made $450 or whatever that was. Yeah, guys, this is why we're not trading today because volume is really, really bad. Let's hear some more questions if you're hiding in the shadows. Maybe you've questioned futures, you've questioned things about prop firms, you don't know where to get started. You want to know the best way to try to get a payout. You want to know the risk management system I use to get a payout. Anything regarding futures, prop firms, trading in general, fishing. Let's hear it. Can you go into position sizing with futures a bit? What you recommend to make substantial gains but not blow an account? Um, Obviously, if you are trying to make something substantial, you're going to be having a higher risk tolerance. So, obviously, not blowing the account, but risking a little bit more. Um, and my recommendation for risk management here. is futures is easy because you can always set a stop loss at a predetermined level and see how much you are risking before you even enter the trade. So for example, um, why does it not say it? Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay, so for example, I can see if I were to enter a trade right here along and price went to the upside here, I would make $510 and I would lose 360 to the downside. So if I wanted to put on more risk here, I could easily do three contracts where now my risk, I know it's a really ugly color, it's hard to see, but now my risk is going to be 1,000 to make 2,100. And it will show you your risk before you even enter the trade. I haven't entered in anything, and this risk calculator is really, really nice. It's calculating my risk in real time without me even entering. So again, if you want to use higher than that, you want to go up to five. Um, if you want to do 10, I don't know what a substantial amount of money you're talking about, live account or prop firm wise. Um, But yeah, it depends on your account size. If you buy a $25,000 account, maybe you just want to dip your toes in a little bit. Check the prop firm without spending 120 bucks. I believe you can get it for cheaper than that right now, just a 25K account. If you don't care about getting a giant 3,000, 5,000, $10,000 payout and you kind of just want to test it out, go for $500,000 payout. By the way, which is still probably 10x your investment. Not guarantee that you're going to get a payout your first try, but once you can build up the skill, I'm telling you, there's nothing better in the entire world. I'm still waiting for someone to. There might be something that's better, but I do not know of anything better. If you can build up the skill to pass the accounts, and if you're a good trader, there really is nothing better. Um, Risk to reward, like I said, 20x my investment. Yeah, 5 to 1,000 bucks. Who would say no to 5 to 1,000 bucks? I don't care if you're a millionaire. It's like it's very nice, especially when that 5 to 1,000 is only risking $100 or $70. But yeah, back to this. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked. It shows you your risk in real time. So there's two different types of contracts. Obviously, you have NQ and ES. But you have NQ minis, which is it's a large contract, and then you have NQ micro, which is 10% of a NQ mini. So picture what we were just showing for the micro contracts for one, and then let's set this here. So look, right now I'm only risking $46 with one contract or $44, right? People think you need a lot of money to trade futures, and it's quite literally the opposite. A micro contract for NQ is very, very cheap. I could enter a trade, with like 20 bucks risk, 10 bucks risk. It's just if you are wanting to risk less, tongue twister there, trade the micro contracts. If you are position size bigger, trade the mini contracts, which obviously might be a little confusing for you guys to start, but one mini equals 10 micros. They are the exact same contract, just smaller. They move the exact same. Um, what else was I gonna say? Did you take minis or micros on the last funded account? Um, it depends on my position size. So the first day I was trading ES, which obviously ES is $6,800 versus NQ being more expensive at 25. ES moves a little bit slower. So if I get this move up on ES on a contract, maybe I'll make this is just a random number, but 200. where NQ might have made 400, right? So NQ is just a lot bigger contract. The first day I took a trade on ES and I took it on mini. So I took it on the larger contract because I had a pretty tight stop loss. Um, and the second day I took NQ, I believe, and I took it on micros. Again, NQ being a lot bigger contract. I only wanted to risk like 300 bucks. And here's another thing to think about too. If if you're only wanting, if your position size is telling you to risk for this example, 700 bucks. What do you guys think is better to take one singular mini contract and you can't close partial contracts, right? You can only close one contract. You have to close a full contract. So would it be better at this time to enter one mini contract or 10 micros? In a micro, you know, you can scale out four, and then you could scale out three, and then you could scale out three. If you go look at my screenshots from yesterday, I instead of trading one micro, or sorry, one mini, I traded 8 micros, which obviously that's a little bit less than one mini. But I did that because you look at the trade and you see me scaling out. Like I'm not just closing that position all at one time. I'm seeing, okay. It hit my first take profit, scale out some here. It's looking super, super bearish. Hold, hold, hold. Okay, it starts to bounce. Scale a few more contracts. Starts to bounce. Scale a few more contracts. And if you look at that yesterday, I believe I closed at like very, very close to the bottom. I shorted almost the exact top. Honestly, like to the t almost like this was the trade that I took. It was like my entry was somewhere around here. My stop loss was literally like super, super tight, and I caught the entire move to the downside. It ended up being like a 15 risk reward trade. So that's a trade that I only risked like no joke, $180, 200 bucks on. But that's a trade that made me close to 2 grand. So obviously, that's a very, very advanced trade, and I recommend most people, again, like we preach, going for those 1 to 2 risk to reward, going for a 1 to 3 risk to reward. I promise you guys, do not, and please, 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 do not be fooled by somebody that has a high win rate, but their risk to reward is not there, because it just takes one little slip up, one loss, and they can get completely wrecked. Like if I'm entering a trade here. My stop loss is here. I'll just put it on the chart for you. Um, let's see. If I'm entering a trade right now and I'm putting my stop loss right here and I'm trying to take profit at this high, and I enter, for example, trading view, paper trading sucks, I guess. Where did that go? Okay, we're just gonna do this. Okay, either my Wi-Fi sucks or this sucks. Hold on. Anyway, this will probably just load in a minute here. But say we enter a trade, our take profit is right here. We're gonna make 200 bucks, right? But our stop loss is down here and we're going to lose $600. Technical analysis aside, market can either go up or down, right? There is like a 70-80% chance that this hits without any technical analysis involved just because of the risk management. And there's so many like gurus out there that just do this so they can look good. And they're taking that profit. They're saying, oh, really, really nice win. When in reality, their losses are gigantic. And even just having one out of every like 5 or 10 losses, it completely ruins your mental mindset and it completely ruins your account. Like literally just one trade. So always be targeting those 1 to 2 risk to reward where you're making at least double what you're putting in, 1 to 3. As you get better, you can start to find those 1 to 5, 1 to 10 setups, which are really, really good. And this is the type of trade, like, mind you, I did not go heavy on this trade. Again, risking 180, $200, ended up closer to 2,000 profit. If I would have risked, you see, there you go with the trading view entry. If I would have risked 500, you guys can do the math there. If I would have risked $1,000, I was more confident in that trade. Those compounding that good risk reward, again, you don't need a crazy win rate, but just finding that sweet spot where obviously you shouldn't be like um trying to get a 10 risk reward trade every single time because your win rate is going to drop quite a bit. Like if I'm trying to take a long here and I'm going within, oh my gosh, trading view is bugging this morning. Okay. If I'm going to take a long here and what on earth? I need to log out of this. Hold on. It's bugging. Okay. Once again, if I'm going to take a long here and I'm going for insane risk reward, 5, the odds of me hitting this trade obviously a lot less likely. It dips down to, I'm not saying me personally, but the odds of this playing out in general is like 10, 20, 30%, right? So you need to find the sweet spot where it's not affecting your mental part of the trading game where you can like if you take a loss here and you try to hit another 5 risk reward, you take another loss, try to hit another 5 risk reward. If you end up taking 3 or 4 losses in a row, right, that can be pretty frustrating and you can start to kind of get that revenge trade feeling where I've taken so many losses in a row. In reality, obviously you only need to win like one trade to make up every 5 or so losses. But that's not super realistic because the risk management part of things, your mental game is going to be going crazy after taking a couple losses, especially if you're a beginner. Um, so find that sweet spot where you've still got a 50+% win rate, but your risk reward obviously needs to be better than 1. Hopefully finding that sweet spot of 1 to 2s, 1 to 3, something in that area. Okay. Sorry for just absolutely yapping. Do you know why taxes are so much better on income from futures? Uh, I don't know. The nice thing is though too, you can withdraw from most of these prop firms in crypto profit. Wait, obviously I do know. And I believe you're just talking about prop firms. So prop firms, I'm not a tax guy and I absolutely suck at tax stuff, but options and normal futures, they are taxed differently than like a prop firm paying you as an employee. So just a little differently. Is there a time limit of holding a contract? It depends on the prop firm. Some let you hold overnight, some let you hold over the weekend. Most do not, but that still gives you plenty of time during New York session to trade, which I most people don't really care about holding overnight or over a week because I'm not saying futures has to be more scalping, but that's how people are kind of treating it. Is like I definitely still hold positions and I definitely still swing trade. Not on prop firms, but people that are trading prop firms, usually they're not too worried about that. So your trade on most prop firms, to answer your question simply, will close at 3 p.m. Utah time. What happens if you hit drawdown? Again, the beautiful thing about prop firms is if you go and you hit drawdown, You invest that 130 bucks, right? Or if you do Apex, you invest that $30 initially, whatever it might be, any prop firm. This applies to all of them. What you invest is the max amount of money that you lose. So if you buy an Apex $30 and you blow that account, you're not blowing any of that actual 50K account that you bought. You're literally only blowing what you put in. And that's how prop firms make money is from people blowing these accounts. That's how they can afford to pay out all this money. It's not from them copying people's trades. I mean, that would be pretty stupid because people are just full porting. Their business model is paying you out from people that are failing the account and uh, taking their evaluation fee that they paid and pocketing it, right? So it's a business model. It's like some people think it's sketchy, but I mean it's pretty normal. In no world would they just connect any substantial amount of money to some random dude who could just full port the trade, right? Let's see. But yeah, if you pay 30 bucks and you fail the evaluation phase, you're only losing that amount of money. If you move to the next stage, then you pay the activation fee of 150. Obviously, now you're into the account a little deeper. That does not mean when you go to the live phase that you're losing that live money. It just still, whatever you're putting in, activation fee, live account, or sorry, activation fee and buying the paper account. So whatever you're paying for fees is the max amount you can lose. Sorry, that was like hard to explain. But whatever you buy, just just know you cannot lose any part of that $50,000. They're not gonna like bill you if you blow the 50K account. Hopefully that makes sense. Sorry if you already answered this. You don't like, no, I think Top Step still is great. They've got their Top Step X platform, which I believe is mandatory to trade on. But yeah, I still think Top Step is a good option. It's definitely a little bit more premium, but don't be fooled in the prop firm space. If something is a little bit more premium, that usually means they're a little bit more trustworthy. Like if you see online somebody selling you or just a prop firm $200,000 account for 20 bucks, it's like the odds that company is gonna pay you out or doesn't have some absolutely absurd rules is probably pretty low. Uh, that's not 100% true overall, but Top Step being premium, I think Top Step is very trustworthy. They don't have any like super sketchy hidden rules or anything like that. It's pretty straightforward. Again, it's a little more on the pricey side. It's not going to be that 120 for a 50K account. It's I can't remember the exacts, but you're paying it upfront and then you're paying an activation fee too. But yeah, I think Top Step is still a great option. Fishing question. Can't wait to the end. Floating the upper green for the next couple days. Ooh, nice. We'll be doing some mousing in the evenings and nights. Any tips on patterns or techniques? Um, Bro, I've seen mousing is like fantastic around that area this time of year. I bet maybe if you get like a super cloudy or stormy day, you should try it because you said yeah, there's supposed to be a storm, at least down here, this weekend. If there's a storm, try throwing on a mouse during the day. But at night, there's two different retrieval methods that I use. You're just dragging with super slow, long strips, or you're literally just doing turbo 1 inch strips, just like just imitating a mouse or trying to cause a ruckus too. I'm sure you'll get them. Try it at the lake above there too. That's where I've seen some caught. I caught a fish on a mouse yesterday. Thoughts on Take Profit Trader? I think they're good too. Take Profit Trader, as long as you're going with like one of the bigger companies, like I wouldn't want to be a test dummy on one of the smaller companies that just comes out, right? So say Take Profit Futures just barely comes out and they've got cheap fees, they've got decent rules. I still wouldn't really want to be a dummy for those accounts and obviously invest a little bit of money, work my way up to a $5,000 payout, and then time comes to get that payout. Oh, they're not trustworthy. There was a hidden rule somewhere. They couldn't afford to pay you out, and payout denied, right? So, my opinion, it's worth paying the premium. Right now, Fund and X is still a very trustworthy prop firm, and they're pretty cheap too, so it's good. But my Fund of Futures, Alpha Futures, Fund Index, Apex, Top Step. I know a lot of people don't like Apex, but as far as if you can really, really read the rules, follow them, and not be full porting, I've got payouts from Apex. I know people don't like them, but if you follow the rules, they will pay you out. And they let you connect an absurd amount of accounts too. Guys, think about I bought one singular account, right? I could get a $5,000 payout on this investment. Think about me buying five accounts, right? It's just stupid. Dang, we still got 50 people in here. You guys love listening to me just spew stupid info. Not stupid, but sometimes I just go off off topic. Any more questions? I'm glad we're not trying to trade this. It's not horrible, but it's definitely, definitely not good. Government shutdown maybe end tomorrow. All right, guys, I'll give you a minute or two to ask any other questions. Again, regarding trading, prop firms, futures, literally anything that you could think of. I know there's probably more people hiding that have some questions, so don't be afraid to ask. Even if you think it's something stupid, I promise you there's no stupid in the prop firm realm because it's very confusing to first start. I guess not like crazy confusing, but if you're newer to trading and you're just hearing about these prop firms, you're probably like, what on earth? So, when would you start thinking about linking? Uh, I would say after you've gotten a couple payouts, then you can start to put a little bit more money onto the board. Build yourself self up a little bit of a buffer, right? You never want to be in more than payouts you've made, in my opinion. So If you're yet to get a payout, I would just keep starting with that one account, prove to yourself that you can get a few payouts, and from there try to scale it up a little bit, right? If you've got $3,000 payouts, you could go for a couple more accounts if your confidence is up. You've proved to yourself your risk management is there, your trading is there, and obviously grabbing a couple more accounts, you'll be able to scale that a little bit better. But if you've never got a payout, like I said, if you've blown five accounts and you're in $500 deep, I wouldn't just keep adding to that. I would try to get a payout, try to be positive, maybe you get $1,000 payout, boom. Literally just one payout, you blew five accounts and you're still positive. Like it's absolutely insane. All right, we got a good amount of people leaving. I appreciate everybody joining, everybody asking questions. Love the interest and really good questions today. Like nothing was dumb, even though it doesn't matter if there's dumb questions. All great questions. Appreciate everybody tuning in. CPI this week is a big focus. So make sure you lock in, take today off, and we'll be back tomorrow. But yeah, have a great rest of the week. Keep the risk management in check, and I'm sure you guys will do great. But peace out.